Roses are red, violets are blue. Don't let a wild pube wreck you. Valentine's Day is just around the corner, and our sponsors at Manscaped are here for you with the best tools to get your balls ready for the special occasion. This V-Day, it's time to join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming, with our exclusive offer. Go to manscaped.com and use code Tougie for 20% off and free worldwide shipping. The holidays went by so quickly. Did you remember to take care of your package with the best tools for the job? I know I did. The Performance Package 4.0 for Manscaped is just the thing every guy needs in their life to make each and every day just a little more special. And a little bigger, if you know what I mean. Manscaped created their products for a night just like this and will make your V-Day date say, wow, that's a great set of balls you got there. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code Tougie, that's Tougie, at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. And again, use code Tougie. Join Cupid and shoot your arrow, or something else, with Manscaped this Valentine's Day.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Tougies Take podcast. We are back again. I'm sticking with the tagline, Endo. It's been arguably your greatest contribution to the show. All three of us the guys, the fellas, we're back. Endo is here. Sin is here, while in fairness, he'd much rather be throttling someone at Comcast right now. Yes. For once, Sin will be the one to do the throttling, not you, Comcast. So it's been an interesting start to the show. But again, hey, welcome aboard. Thank you very much for being here. Today, we're going to talk about some hockey. The good and the bad, because it's hockey, and that's what it's been for the past year or so. Let's be honest. But hey, we'll have fun while we're here. And again, we thank you very much for listening or watching, of course, on the Tougies Take Podcast YouTube channel. Of course, go subscribe if you haven't. Big things coming to that channel, perhaps in the future. By the way, boys, for the first time ever, I looked around in terms of the podcast, and I saw on iTunes that we have about 6 or 7 ratings so far. So shout out to like the 7 people listening on iTunes. I think it was 5 stars and 1 star. Shout out to that 1 star, baby. You're my favorite.
It was the first one that was on it too, by the way, because yeah, when I went to rate it, because I was like, oh my god, there's only 1 rate, and I'm like, or maybe there was like, I don't know, there's a couple ratings at that point, but yeah, one of them was 100% a 1 star. It's like, how is it? And same with on my channel, and I'm sure your channel too. Right when you release a video, somehow. Within the first 20, within the first 20 interactions, there's always that 1 or 2 dislike, or I'm just like, biggest fan.
And apparently now it's going to happen with Twitter. They're adding comment downvotes or whatever. Like I just got that update on my mobile version of Twitter.
Mr. Playing Card is going to be all over your shit.
Oh my God, yeah, it's going to be great.
That's such a great enemy to have.
It is too. It is. I love him. He's great. But yeah, with that, everybody, again, we are back. We're here to talk some hockey. Decided to pass up on viewer questions today because we have a decent amount to talk about as it is, despite the fact that, of course, it is the All-Star Weekend, where I think I can speak for all 3 of us. I think right now we'd much rather be in Vegas hanging out with some of the friendos for All-Star Weekend. But unfortunately, hey, money's a thing. And sometimes you can't just be like, I'm going to Vegas for the weekend, if not longer. But shout out to the friendos that can. Make sure to follow MonkeyDude22 on Twitter. He is documenting his entire escapades this weekend, making me jealous and sad that I'm not there in the process. Because, much like Sin, internet issues as of late. Shout out to last night's stream that got completely demolished. What is it with internet service providers and not living up to their end of the agreement?
Right.
I don't know. Welcome to my Jerry Seinfeld impression. What's the deal with ISPs?
I don't know.
Hey,
they say they'd give you a service. I pay for the service.
I pay.
They don't take money off when it's down.
Is my girlfriend listening to B-Movie?
You like jazz? Oh yeah. Also, a quick shout out, happy birthday to Monkey Dude as well. Also,
yeah.
Our good friend, Howler, as well. I'm not sure if he's there, but I think he should be there too.
He is. Yeah. Oh, dude,
they did dodgeball.
That's the best thing about Monk's Twitter account right now is he was documenting all the mascots that were there at the craps table. just hanging out. Like, imagine you don't know
suits,
what's going on.
assuming,
You're
but-
just in Vegas and you see mascots in their mascot uniforms at the crap table. Like, crazy.
You see Iceberg putting 1,000 on 22. It's gonna hit.
God, that's the best part. So we'll start off today's show with a segment that I really had no other choice but to name Good News, Bad News, because there's kind of a mix. There's some stuff that I think is that is worth mentioning to kind of lighten the mood, put us all into a better spot, but also there's some negative stuff that, is still worth mentioning because of the contributions of certain people. We want to start off this show by saying congratulations, goddammit, to Eric and Melinda Carlson. Welcome to Sun on Wednesday, a baby boy, and in 20 years, should he choose, he will tear the NHL a new one.
Yeah.
And it's going to be horrifying. Please don't go to Ottawa. We got enough of your dad destroying the Bruins in the playoffs. Please. Oh, my God. But that was just great news to see because I think most people familiar with them know of the situation, of course, in the past where, they had lost, previous child. It was just it's just great news to have seen that. So again, congratulations to Erik Karlsson. Again, hopefully we see him back on the ice. He was supposed to be out for the majority of this month. And oh no, what a situation. I'm hurt. I'm sure he'd prefer to be on the ice, but in a roundabout way it works out because now he just gets to spend time at home.
I was going to say that. It's
awesome.
kind of like a paternity leave. Obviously, it sucks that he's not on the ice, and I'm sure he'd love to play there. But, I mean, some players like go through hell when they're in injury because they just don't have stuff to do, man. When you got a new kid, like, there you go. Like, quality time right there.
I'm going to look at it. It's like, yeah, that's my child. Yeah.
I actually get to see my child instead of being on the ice. And if anything, hey, it helps out the Sharks long term too, because hopefully this will lead to them selling. Everything's coming up Millhouse right now, except for the Sharks on the ice. But I think that's a good thing long term.
Yeah.
Most likely.
And then we put up a crazy good fight against Tampa, because
gotta just stay in that middle ground.
fuck this team, dude. They suck against the Kraken, and then they go to OT against Tampa with the refs calling the weirdest stuff.
There you go. Wanted to mention this story in one of our first bad news ones, but again, I think it's worth mentioning because there was a great article put out that I encourage everyone that listens to this podcast to read. Robin Herman, she was a journalist who essentially broke down the gender barrier in terms of reporters and their place. She passed away at 70 years old. The New York Times had that article out about her career. I read it this morning. Again, highly suggest you all check it out. But essentially, she was the one to really push for women to be able to have that same standard of like, oh yeah, no, men reporters, come in the locker room, whatever, it's fine. And literally, like, her first time walking into a locker room, she gets to hear someone yell, "Get that broad out of here." But she kept pushing, she kept fighting for that equality. And, again, I've seen a lot of responses to her passing about like, oh, well, it's kind of ridiculous as to whether or not people, reporters should even be allowed in the locker room. And that is an argument I think that you can have. But
not right now.
My standpoint and the standpoint of a lot of people is, hey, you're going to allow reporters in the locker room. You need to allow everybody in the locker room. And she fought for women to have that right. So again, please, I encourage you to check out her story on the New York Times. But in terms of more good news, shout out to the state of Nevada, or Nevada, whatever you prefer. Apparently that's a really divisive topic, whether or not it's Nevada or Nevada. Sin, Nevada or Nevada?
I say Nevada. There are people out there who say Oregon as well, but it's not as heated of a debate.
That's fair. I asked you because obviously California. Endo, Nevada.
Nevada. What a wonderful phrase. I'm not even sure, honestly.
Fair enough.
I think either one is fine. It's a word. We have a short life enough already. So, just live
there you
it
go.
up.
There was a graphic put out that documented the fact that since the Vegas Golden Knights were announced, like, hockey participation amongst youths has gone up 171% in the state. It is not going to be long before we hear about, here's Austin Matthews Jr. Is he going to go play for the Golden Knights and go home? He grew up watching and supporting the team. Can't wait to find out who that's going to be.
Yeah.
And at the same time, Austin Matthews will be playing for the Coyotes, so it'll be perfect. It's like, get that dead face from him.
Yeah, you just gotta throw that in there at that point. Yeah. I think it's cool. It's one of the good things that the Vegas Golden Knights have done.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, how is Sin going to avoid complimenting the Vegas Golden Knights?
Yeah.
Oh,
broken clocks and all that, you know.
Yeah, there you go.
You need these. You're just throwing all the shade at me. It's ridiculous. Come on now. Well, these are actually really cool. Like
now, here's the thing, though. I did want to balance it because I knew I'd make that joke, and I want to talk about Josh Hosang.
Yeah, that's right.
Who made these comments on the Fan 590 about his past. And I want to read this specific quote. He said, "I went from nobody in the NHL wanting me this summer, my agent making calls, and 2/3 didn't even hear him out. What's helped me through this transition," as of course he's talking about him being on the Canadian Olympic team. "What helped me through this transition, I was entitled when I was younger. I wanted things given to me. That's not how you operate. My message now is to remain grateful. The ability to play hockey for a living is such a blessing. I didn't fully appreciate it because I was focused on the end goal. Now I enjoy the day-to-day." In terms of Josh Hosang, I and many others I think were wrong in that the conversation around Josh Hosang was, but why are people calling him entitled? You know, like there was a lot of that conversation about this guy looks talented as hell, but people are saying there's attitude issues. But why? He's flat out owning up to, yeah, I had attitude issues and I was entitled. At the same time, I guess you could kind of say it kind of combines with the Jordan Subban conversation as to why people may have been why they would speculate as to whether or not this specific player would get labeled with these issues. But in this case, it was accurate, according to the man himself. And it's great. I mean, he's only 26 years old, I believe. Like, he certainly still has the opportunity to use this Olympic cycle as a platform, as a launching pad to maybe finally get that NHL career kickstarted and going as we all thought it might have gone. So, a future 30-goal scorer for the Toronto Maple Leafs, Josh Hosang.
Don't push it that far, personally. I mean, it's a great story.
But every Leafs fan has been saying that because he has like 12 goals with the Marlies. Don't act like that's not been a thing.
He's not even on an NHL contract, and all these fucking bozos don't understand that. He can't go on a contract yet.
He's the best player ever because he's in a Leafs system.
Yeah.
He's not even officially in the Leafs system.
Yeah, he's not. He's like... It's like not even like technically in the organization. The only reason why he got to work with like other people is because like they really do share the resources. At the same time, if they want to give him up to the higher level, they got to terminate that contract and then sign him that way. But then because of his age and everything, it's signed to a one-way deal. So the only way he's going to be eligible to play for the Leafs is playoff time. And the Marlies are like on the cusp of like a wild card spot, so I don't think they're going to like cut him out of the equation there. I want Joshua Hosang to get a shot with the Leafs, but I think right now the best thing for him to do is not to rush it. Everyone's like, "Oh, Hosang's gonna be the best. He's gonna be great." Like, this is like, do you see what happened when you rush prospects? Think of it the exact same way.
Well, I mean,
a guy who hasn't he hasn't really been proven in the NHL either. So I wouldn't want to rush the Hosang situation because of our cap hit and everything. We still got to pay Jack Campbell at the end of the season. We still got to pay a whole bunch of people as well.
Yeah, I think that's more
Jack Campbell, future Arizona Coyotes goaltender, according to NHL 22, every single time.
I would say on the Hosang thing, it's more of that you were mentioning like you don't want to rush it, and mostly for your contract situation. But in the way of Hosang, I'd say age 26, like he's probably ready for the NHL. Mm-hmm. I don't see him in Toronto. And I know that'll probably disappoint a lot of Toronto people, but like I think he's clearly ready for a shot. It won't be with Toronto because they're absolutely stacked with players like him, and their cap situation sucks.
Yeah.
Hey, Doug Wilson. I don't know.
Seattle.
I see Seattle. Like there's a whole bunch of players who are like on the out over here. Ilya Mikheyev, he wants to get out of the city as well. He asked for a trade beginning of the last season. Like, unfortunate of the career he's had there. Like everyone's gonna want to pay a raise with the playing.
It's a crazy logjam of like talented forwards.
Like we went from like having basically nothing to having all these things because of the Shanna plan and everything wants to call it and how it's failed. But now we're just like the talent thing for the past 5 years has not been an issue. It's just about execution and in clutch key moments, and they need to figure that out first. And once they get out of the first round, I think they're going to finally be able to figure it out.
The other more negative story that I wanted to talk about here, but I think it's important for essentially like the entire province of Newfoundland, and that would be the passing of Chris Abbott, who was the man behind the Buddy the Puffin mascot, outfit since 1992. He had been the guy behind that mascot. That, again, hockey changed so much in that province, like consistently. Oh, we have the St. John's Maple Leafs. Oh, well, they're gone. Oh, here's the Ice Caps, and they're gone. But here's the Newfie Growlers. Like, so much, like, a constantly evolving situation in terms of hockey, specifically around St. John. And, he was there for the entire thing. He passed away at 51 years old, but I wanted to mention that as well, just to show that in terms of like the impact somebody can have on the hockey world, even though it was so restricted to just one region, like that can really carry through. So that was pretty shitty in terms of news to discover as well. And again, it's just 51. That's
and
far too young.
Robin too, dude. 70 is, in this day and age, that's still too soon. Like, it's damn. Yeah, that's a couple unfortunate passings there.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, it's one of those things that we don't necessarily have to mention on the show, but in that instance of, like, not enough people know the name Robin Herman. I did not know her name prior to her passing, and that's a shame, and that should not have been the case. And in the case of Chris Abbott, I mean, his entire thing is, hey, you don't know who I am, but I am this mascot. But obviously people in the area knew just what he would do, his impact on the community, and I think that's worth mentioning as well. So the last thing I wanted to mention in this kind of good news, bad news segment, the growth of hockey in this good news category. The growth of hockey, we're moving forward in terms of a spotlight because PK Subban is going to be in Jackass Forever.
That's awesome.
Or is in Jackass Forever, which has come out in theaters today. If I wasn't being buried under another foot of snow, I probably would have tried to get to the theater for the first time in a long time to watch this. I am a bit disappointed it's not available on a streaming service, but I get why, because you've heard like directors be like, oh yeah, putting my movie on a streaming service kind of screws me over. But at the same time, he will be in the film shooting pucks at people's crotches to see how protective a jockstrap really is.
Nice.
I am surprised it's not to see how damaging slewfoots can be to the knee. But at the same time, this is cool as shit. And in terms of Jackass, like your memories of the show, do you view it fondly?
Oh, yeah.
Are you planning on seeing this film at some point?
I absolutely will, because Jackass was my thing. Like that was around the time when I'm, growing up, like that really kind of hit the scene, like in the 2000s and stuff like that. And I mean, it just resonates with you, especially for like young dudes, especially because you got all that energy and shit. And you just see all these other guys just acting like absolute morons. And I mean, that's what you do. Like, you like that as a teenager. You like when, when people do that kind of stuff because you do that kind of stuff. And you like that. You're like, yeah, look at me. I'm a scumbag, haha, like whatever. And yeah, so I'm so excited to see it, and I don't know why people are getting bent out of shape that there's like new people involved, like some younger people. Like, it's very weird. It's like this weird gatekeeping going on from like some of these like OG Jackass viewers, but hey, what can you do? Yeah, it's just very fun memories. I watched all that. I loved Viva La Bam as well, and
I think that's one of the things that has some people upset is there's been the whole thing with him and the controversy as to why he's not in it, and there's a good reason he's not. Issues that have been well documented, which is a shame. I think honestly, it's been almost essentially. I mean, it has been a decade since Ryan Dunn passed away, so now it's at the point where it's essentially been a decade where it's just like God. It's the worst thing to sit there and be like, okay, I have fond memories of this person. They don't know I exist, but I have fond memories of watching this person on my TV or listening to their music or so on and so forth. And just knowing that any day you could wake up and read that they passed away and you wouldn't be surprised. That's the worst. Mm-hmm. That is absolutely the worst. So hopefully, somehow, some way, at this stage, after a fucking decade of this shit, that Bam Margera is able to get clean. That would be lovely. Lovely news. Endo, any memories of Jackass? And do you plan on seeing Jackass Forever?
I'm probably going to go see it, honestly. We watched it when you're streaming the other day, you pull up the trailer, you're like, oh sweet, I got to do a thing for the Twitch rewards when you get to view something on basically view a trailer and give commentary on it, which is pretty sweet. And we were just like, oh shit, Jackass! Oh shit, Jackass! It looked awesome. We literally saw Johnny Knoxville get CTE like live. How unfortunate that is for him, but it was great content. These guys give up their bodies like crazy. With the whole gatekeeping thing, what are you gonna do? Have these guys like when they're 80 years old still jumping off of like buildings and stuff, or getting pot shots to the nuts? Like you want to get like Francis?
Well,
like you gotta have a new generation.
To Sin's point, I think that's why they're introducing some new people. I don't think continuing it. Like, I think Johnny Knoxville was quoted in saying, like, this is his last one because, Jesus Christ.
I mean, he's almost 50. Like,
he actually might be.
Oh, goodness gracious, yeah.
Yeah, hold on. Johnny Knoxville is 50 years old. 51 in March.
There you go. Like, yeah.
Like, it is amazing that essentially everybody involved with this is still alive, outside of Ryan Dunn, which in fairness was, granted the circumstances around the car accident, are what they are, but everyone's still alive, essentially.
From the stunts, you mean? Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, it's insane that nothing ever went so horribly wrong. I'm excited for the film. And, it's funny, you talked about, like, Viva La Bam. Like, I watched Wild Boys, too, growing up with Pontius and Steve-O, and that was great. Like, just, it's so, like, I think for people of our age and a little bit older, like, it's so ingrained into what was on TV and what was, at the forefront of pop culture.
Back when MTV was still good,
growing up.
Man.
2007-ish, 2008-ish. Oh. Here's 16 and pregnant, and just yep, off the cliff you go.
Like it was even manageable when they had like Room Raiders, or I don't even know if that was on that. It might have been VH1 or whatever.
God, I think it was.
I know it was like TLC and 80 had the same stuff.
I don't know. I all I remember is my sister watching all that shit, and I hated it.
Like Room Raiders was MTV, and Next.
Yes.
Oh my God,
okay, they were.
Next.
They were MTV. Yeah. Okay.
Next was the
I hate
fucking
that
best.
was like. Those were like almost manageable, but like that was definitely the start of the downfall. Like that was.
It was, yeah.
Ugh.
I watched. I think it was Nakey Jakey made a video. He's a YouTuber. He makes a lot of content like this, and he did one basically on like the downfall of like TV and like basically social interaction because of these TV shows. And it started with like, it was like The Bachelor, and then like Next, and then like all this stuff like that. I think one of them was like, it was like MTV. It was like basically you make someone be a certain they're like not a lookalike of like a celebrity. It's like, yeah, this is my version of like, what was it, like one of the girls from like the Pussycat Dolls. It was like, this is my version of this or whatever. It was, I think it was Made, and it was like, it was so weird, so obscure. Yeah, like it's crazy.
Honestly, I mean, we could sit here and just talk about how reality TV completely ruined television because it pretty much did.
Okay, but Next was
it
fun.
basically did, to the point where it's like, here's the History Channel, and it's nothing but American pickers. Like,
yes, god damn.
It's like
we're old enough to call it out when the History Channel actually showed documentaries.
I missed that. Yeah, I used to love watching the History Channel.
Oh God! Shout out though to the best MTV show of all time, Fear, where they put people in a supposedly haunted location, and if you didn't tap out, you won the money. And its theme song was "Voodoo" by Godsmack. Just
oh my gosh!
The pinnacle, the pinnacle of television.
Oh my God! There was one more show. I can't remember what it was called, but you were like in the dark, completely in the dark, and then you had to go through certain things. And one of them was like,
that was Fear.
Yeah, no, not. I think it wasn't Fear, but it was like it was something similar. And one of the highlights of the show was I had to basically go into a box and smell something, and then like they put like this guy's like ass in the frame. So he's like, "Oh, it smells like ass." Goes correct. And he looks up at the voice. He's like, "What?" I can't remember what it was called. It was like black. It was like pitch dark or whatever. I can't remember what it was called.
Between that and Silent Library, I'm not sure what show.
Legends of the Lost Temple.
Oh my God!
And he got slimed after.
God damn it. We'll move on to actually talking about hockey. Thank you for bearing with us, everybody, but I wanted to mention that as well. And again, congrats to PK Subban. That's cool as shit, and he will continue. Like, PK Subban's going to be, like, the public face of hockey on ESPN or TNT when he retires. 1,000%. He is far too great of a personality. There's a reason why PK Subban is in Jackass and not, like, Glendenning. No disrespect to Mr. Glendenning. Before we get to our actual talking points here, though, there was some breaking news on Twitter that has been confirmed. First and foremost, the 2023 All-Star Game will be in South Florida, as I believe it was supposed to be. Much like the draft was supposed to be Montreal before, obviously, a bunch of shit hit the fan. As well, Carolina getting a Stadium Series event. And for the first time in 13 years, the Winter Classic is returning to Fenway Park. And I will 1,000% be there. I didn't get to go to the 2010 game against the Flyers to see Marco Sturm score the OT winner. I am going to this one, and hopefully they don't get pooped on like they did when they hosted Montreal at Gillette Stadium, because as Endo knows from the video we put together about Winter Classics, that is the worst Winter Classic of all time. Shit sucked.
Yep.
But, dude, I hope to get tickets for this. I really do. Like, goddamn.
Yeah, I'm calling it.
It'd be so cool to go.
I'm calling it's gonna be Toronto,
Yeah.
Toronto, Boston.
I think it's Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
I think the rumor was Pittsburgh. I don't know if that's 100% confirmed,
Pittsburgh
but
and
even if it
Boston.
is the Penguins, like,
That's pretty cool.
God.
Fucking
lot
Like,
of-
Boston, Pittsburgh. Like, so here's the thing, man. I might get to see, if I get to go to this, and I'm going to save up this year. Like, I am going to do what I have to do to get tickets. Goddamn, just imagine, like, if Bergeron stays, like Bergeron, Crosby, Fenway Park, before both of these teams kind of turn the page. It's just, God, please, God, I want to go to that so badly. But along with that breaking news, it kind of segues into one of our other talking points I wanted to get to today. The All-Star Skills Competition. We're going to do some predictions. Because why not? I think it'd be fun to kind of talk about what we expect to see, because let's be honest, the skills comp is the best part of the All-Star game, or All-Star weekend, essentially. Now, here are the situations. Of course, the new events, you have the Fountain Face-Off, where participants will travel by boat to a rink set up in the middle of the fountain, where they will shoot 5 pucks as quickly as possible at 5 targets. Because fountain. The field, Jordan Eberle, Claude Giroux, Jonathan Huberdeau, Roman Josi, Jocelyn Lemereau Davidson, Mark Stone, Nick Suzuki, Zach Werenski. This seems like the stupidest thing in the world, but I do kind of love it. Who is going to have the best accuracy while standing in the middle of a fountain?
God.
My vote is Roman Josi.
Who played at the Lake Tahoe thing? Because they'll probably do the best.
Yeah.
Was that Boston and Philadelphia for Lake Tahoe?
I thought it was like
I don't remember.
Colorado and Boston.
That's you're right. It was Colorado.
Yeah.
Goddamn. Well, no Avalanche members there, but Sin, I appreciate.
I'm gonna go Giroux because that guy has a really underrated shot.
Claude the Bod Giroux. Let's go.
Fair enough. Future member of some team not named the Philadelphia Flyers, because they are absolute trash, as Flyers fans know. Although I did see the headline. Of course, it's been out there, the fact that, like, oh, the Flyers have had 2 10-game losing streaks, yet they're not the worst team in the league, because that's how bad the bottom teams are.
Yeah.
You know, Montreal, your Arizona's, like, it's insane that they're not even close to the bottom half.
Yeah, I wish Giroux would. I was just gonna say, I wish Giroux would get traded now, so that Tomas Hertl's value will be great at the deadline. But
Oh my god.
There you go. The next one, the brand new 21 in 22, which is essentially them shooting at a board to play blackjack. Like, it's literally blackjack. The participants, Nazem Kadri, Austin Matthews, Joe Pavelski, Steven Stamkos, and Brady Tkachuk. Man, like, in terms of someone's accuracy to be able to hit the proper cards to win a game of 21, I mean, I want to say Matthews, but Steven Stamkos' name stands out for me.
Joe Pavelski.
We knew you'd go with that one. And Austin Matthews, just to round it out.
Nazem Kadri. He's been my favorite player. Growing up, my uncle was like, "Why do you like Nazem Kadri? He's gonna get traded." I'm like, "No, he's not. He didn't get traded. He just fucking left."
Beautiful.
Wait, did he get traded?
Yeah, he got traded for Tyson Berry.
Yeah.
Fuck, he got traded.
He sure did. And Alex Kerfoot. Come on now. Alex Kerfoot's in that deal too.
Toss the fish and read his name out.
Oh my god. What a reference.
Yep.
Oh my god.
As well. That trade was Kadri and Rosen, along with a third-round pick that eventually got dealt. No, Jean-Luc Foudy is an Avs prospect. For Tyson Berry, Alex Kerfoot, and a sixth-rounder that became Joe Miller.
So technically speaking, we got back Callie Rosen as well in that deal. Because later on he came back after waivers, which was like, "Hey, buddy, we only really wanted to get rid of Kaj, but they wanted you too." Sweet.
Yeah, that's why we won the Carlson trade. We got Balsers back, son.
Yeah.
There you go.
Rudolph.
The fastest skater. There will be a new winner because Matt Barzal is not an all-star.
Oh.
The field is Kyle Connor, Adrian Kempe, Chris Kreider, Kuznetsov, Jordan Kyrou, Dylan Larkin, Cale Makar, and Connor McDavid. Now, somebody did share the top speeds by All-Stars that have been registered this season. Number one, Timo Meier has the fastest skating speed registered this season, but he is not participating. So there you go, send a little tip of the cap to Timo Meier. There are 3 players in that list. Actually, only 2, because, Nick Suzuki is in this this top 4, but he's also not participating. Basically, Connor McDavid and Cale Makar have both been clocked at over 24 miles an hour, apparently, as a top speed. I mean, you want to say McDavid, but at the same time, will Cale Makar's edge work in going around the boards help him out?
That's what I was just going to say. McDavid's exceedingly fast, but I think why he's so fast is that he just keeps up his speed so well when he's stick handling and moving laterally. It's not so much edge work, but it's like his acceleration. Like, you ever see like how he gets skating? He takes like these little tiny steps and all of a sudden he's just flying.
Yeah.
That's not really like, I don't know. I feel like the speed competition doesn't suit his style of skating, and I really feel like Connor McDavid just is. Yeah, I would have to go with Cale Makar. I really am gonna have to go with Cale Makar in this one.
Yeah, I'm thinking Cale as well. I would say Connor because like he's like the fastest guy in the league, like no doubt. But the way he's like Sen said, the way he skates and the way he like does stuff like that, his skating style fits maneuverability and not necessarily like long stretches like the way just going through. Like, because notice whenever he skates up the ice, he's always going from one zone to the other. And one of the comparisons I think last year, years before, is that an NFL like coach was like, he moves like a running back on the ice. Essentially, the way he skates and goes through left and right.
Yeah.
So him trading full on straight
burst is insane.
Yeah, it's very like different per se. So I think Makar's got it.
I'm very excited for this because we know like Kyle Connor's fast, Jordan Kyrou's fast, Chris Kreider's deceptively fast, Dylan Larkin's a rocket on skates. Like
he
very
cheated.
Much looking forward.
Dylan
to
Larkin cheated extra steps. He doesn't have the record.
You don't have the
save streak, which again is you just sit there and take shots and see how many saves you can make in a row. It is Frederick Anderson, Jack Campbell, Thatcher Demko, John Gibson, Tristan Jarry, UC Saros, Cam Talbot, and Andrei Vasilevsky.
That's a tough one.
UC Saros.
Yeah. If there's
I'm gonna
one
go
thing
why
not?
Yeah, there's one thing I hate about this event and this mode specifically with most saves. What they should do is have a game. So if you've played hockey, you'll know something called rebound. And where essentially the goalie's like basically playing the first shot, and then from there it's a mad scrum in front. After the first 3 saves, whoever wins, like, if it goes in, team gets a point. If the goalie stops it enough, goalie gets the point. It's like 3 rebounds, and after you consider the goalie wins. That should be an all-star game event because it's one of the greatest things that you as a goalie has when they're doing practice. Whenever rebound happens and you have a practice, they love it. I love it. It's just, this is really biased because I fucking love rebound. It's the greatest thing ever. I remember a few years ago, I was practicing with a junior A team, and they're like, "Oh, want to play rebound?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, let's play some fucking rebound." And we just did that for like a half hour straight. And then like loser has to do like a lap or like whatever. But like that's something that they should put in there.
So who is your pick?
I said UC Stars. I just went on a rant about. It was after the fact, okay? I said UC Stars is gonna win it, and I said that this event still kind of sucks because it could be something even better instead of just make it.
That describes most of the NHL.
Yeah. Fucking hell! Like fucking play rebound. God, thank you.
Sin.
Gibson.
There you go. Because the hardest shot. Zdeno Chara elected not to take part, which makes me sad, but I understand he has the record of 108.8 miles per hour. Of course, Shea Weber set the most recent victory at 106.5 in 2020. The participants, Victor Hedman, Timo Meyer. Why isn't he in fastest skater if he's there? What the fuck? Like, literally, I just told you he has the fastest recorded time. Adam Pelech and Tom Wilson, who, of course, is replacing Alexander Ovechkin. Because of look, I'm sorry, I try not to be much of a conspiracy theorist when it comes to this, and if Ovi is, I don't want to sit there and say they'd lie about Ovi having a positive test, but at the same time, like, because it doesn't make sense, right? Like, why would you lie about a positive test when Ovi instead could just be like, fuck it, I'm not going, like he's done every other year, except you get a suspension if you do that. I'm just saying the timing of this positive test for Ovi, it can at least make you reasonably go, that's a way to avoid the suspension. But hopefully,
how long is the suspension?
Cool. I think it's a game or two.
Game.
See, he could score a goal or two. You got to keep that. Got to keep the record up. I'm 100% on board. Lie, motherfuckers. It's okay to lie, kids.
So, I think Victor Hedman is gonna be a lot of people's favorites. I'm gonna go with Adam Pelech. Because out of the name value in this, Adam Pelech does not have the name value. So I'm siding with Adam Pelech so the Islanders can actually win something this season.
Yeah. Okay.
And no Mills. Your choice. I know, right? He always just kind of defers to you.
Yeah. I just don't know. I don't know enough about all these players and their shots.
Pick somebody.
I want Tom Wilson to win for the meme. Also, I looked in a little bit about the. That's why I was silent. Looked a little about the situation regarding Ovi. I believe he legitimately has COVID because his wife, who went back home, came solo from Russia to Washington, and when she arrived, it was like, hey, yeah, he's gotta go in protocol now. I don't think someone would fly a million miles away from one area just because like a tinfoil hat kind of situation. Unless she just wanted some time away from the kids.
Wait.
What?
I don't even know.
She left?
Sin.
So she flew.
But no, stop. I don't care. Sin, why are you picking Timo Meyer?
Let me speak.
Oh, you've been speaking, sir.
Yes, you have been.
It's not. Oh my. You know what? Never mind. Never mind. It's real.
Timo Meyer?
It's real to me. Damn it.
I don't care at this point.
Thank you. Fuck you.
The Breakaway Challenge, which is what you would think it is. This one's more focused on the shooters. Alex DeBrincat, Jack Hughes, Kirill Kaprizov, Alex Pietrangelo, Trevor Zegras, Manon Rhéaume. Manon Rhéaume is going to be there.
Who?
I'm so glad you asked, because remember how I said earlier how there's a name that a lot of people should know that they don't know?
Yes.
Manon Rhéaume is a name that every hockey fan should know. She was the first woman to ever play in the NHL. She did so in preseason exhibition games for the Tampa Bay Lightning way back when, in 1992 and 93. She is an Olympic silver medalist and should very much be in the Hockey Hall of Fame. I don't believe she is, but a phenomenal... She also played goal, so I don't know if she's just going to be in goal, if she's the goalie while people are doing this. I'm not entirely sure. And then someone by the name of Wyatt Russell is going to be there, which, correct me if I'm wrong, Wyatt Russell, the current star of... God, what is he in that I'm trying to think of? Like, he's an actor, if I'm not mistaken. Like, he is going to be a goalie, along with Manon Rhéaume, in this. And if I'm not mistaken, isn't he in the Mighty Ducks? Is that what I'm thinking of?
Wyatt Russell.
Yeah.
No, that's right. He was in fucking The Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
That's what he was in. Like, he's just an actor who fucking loves hockey. I think.
Yeah, it says he's a former hockey player.
Yeah, he played from 2003 to 2010. BCHL for 2 years, OPJHL, USHL.
That's who he was. He was fucking Anders Kane and Goon's.
Yeah. I was like, that guy looks so familiar.
He can
I couldn't think of it. I had to look it up. So that's weird as shit that they're gonna be that they have Manon Rhéaume and Wyatt Russell as the goalies. Trevor Zegras wins the end.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. No one else is coming close.
Yeah.
No one else can pull off as creative of a move as he can. There's no chance. Unless Ovi breaks out the silly hats again. But again, he's not there.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do? The accuracy shooting. Unless Endo disagrees with Trevor Zegras, but I don't think he did.
I said Trevor Zegras.
Does he have a
Y'all don't
story
listen to
about?
me.
Do you have a story about?
Yeah, I was
Trevor
gonna say,
Zegras?
hey, what story do you got here? Now here's a guy, fucking he went to high school at St. Catherine's University in Niagara Falls. Like
No.
Pierre Endo Mills.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Endo McGuire.
I feel really seen
Your joke, but worse.
as the joke of this podcast. Thank you. No, I got fucking nothing. You know what? Next time I'm gonna go on like a 5-minute tangent just because.
It's cool. I need to go to the bathroom anyway.
Oh, another one. The last competition is the accuracy shooting, which seems kind of redundant when they're doing the fountain thing. But the participants, Sebastian Aho, Patrice Bergeron, he wins. Rasmus Dahlin, Leon Draisaitl, we'll see if he manages to spear somebody else in the nuts. There was a highlight compilation of him literally spearing guys that was up on Reddit and talking about sneaky dirty.
Oh, yeah, he's so sneaky dirty.
Johnny Gaudreau, Jake Gensel, Clayton Keller, Jonathan Marchessault, and Troy Terry. I'm going with Bergeron out of pure bias. Who's going to win the accuracy shooting? Keep in mind, Jacob Slavin won it in 2020.
Yeah.
So you never really know.
Wait, read the names again? Sorry.
Oh, dicks. I just closed the tab.
Oh, you don't know. Okay.
I got them back. The names for the accuracy shooting this season. Sebastian Aho, Patrice Bergeron, Rasmus Dahlin, Leon Draisaitl, Johnny Gaudreau, Jake Gensel, Clayton Keller, Jonathan Marchessault, and Troy Terry.
That's tough. I'll go with Jake Gensel. Just because I don't think anyone expects it.
I feel like
I would agree with that assessment. I mean, hey, we know Deke Slayer is going to be rooting for Clayton Keller.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's very, very good.
Clayton Keller's got a lot of baby fat on his face still. You ever seen a picture of him?
Yeah. He's so good, though, man. He's been so good this year. And
spending too much time with Kessel, though.
It didn't, yeah. Well, I mean, is it baby fat or hot dog related fat? Phil Kessel. Hello, everybody. It's me, Tougie, from the future, interrupting this podcast as I know you love your podcasts interrupted to talk to you about our friends from Thrive Fantasy who want you to come prop up today for this NHL season. Thrive Fantasy is a daily fantasy sports app for player prop bets. With Thrive, you can eliminate the countless hours of research and focus on only the top tier athletes that have the biggest impact on the game. Choose 10 out of the 20 available players on the day for the props to build up your lineup. Each prop is assigned a fantasy value for both the over and under based on how likely it is to hit. Hit the most props, rack up the most points to win a share of the prize pool. Thrive has over $15,000 in prizes for the NHL and has awarded over $5 million in total. So check out the link in the description or go to thrivefantasy.com and use code Tougie. When you sign up today, you will receive a 100% instant first deposit match for up to $100 plus 2 free contest entries when you deposit at least $10. Download Thrive Fantasy on the App Store or the Play Store or again by visiting their website at www.thrivefantasy.com. Sign up and prop up today. Let's get back to the show. It's beautiful. With that, let's move on to talking about a couple of the things that we have here today. Again, looking forward to the skills comp. Let us know your picks. Will you even be watching the skills competition, or are you kind of over it? I've had a couple of years where I'm like, I'm not even interested in the skills comp.
I'm probably not tuning into the All-Star game whatsoever. I just have
watch
really no interest. Like I said, my interest in hockey has been withering away this year in particular.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of reasons for that based off of stuff that's happened on the ice, off the ice. We'll get into that. There's one particular story coming up. Everyone knows what we're going to talk about. And then not to mention NHL 22 is in a rough spot. So it's like, man, even in a video game form, I can't get that escape.
Yeah.
But there is one way in which I'm excited for hockey, and that is, of course, the Olympics. Now, the men's games haven't started yet, but for the women, they have. The first 2 match days have taken place. Wanted to just go over some of the results. Now, the U.S. did beat Finland 5-2 in the opener, 2 very good teams. The U.S. lost Brianna Decker for the tournament to a pretty horrific lower body injury. That sucks. She's one of the best players in the world, and to go down early on in the first game and just have that opportunity ripped away sucks. Like, really, really sucks. Canada beat Switzerland 12-1.
Was there ever any doubt? No offense.
12-1. Well, see, there is, though, because with some of these results, right? Like, Sweden beat Japan 3-1.
I know.
China beat... Yeah, Japan beat Sweden 3-1.
Lol.
I might have said that in reverse. So Japan beat Sweden. China beat Denmark 3-1 as well. So while on the men's side of things, we look at like, oh, here's Team China, they're going to get crushed. On the women's side of things, you got Japan, you got China, and they're winning games already, or at least have won a game so far. I think it makes this women's tournament so much more interesting to watch because it's not just, oh, U.S., Canada, Russia, Sweden, Finland, that's it. Like, there's legitimate competition there.
Yeah, I was figuring Sweden would be a pretty solid team. Again, I don't know how much, like, obviously there's more parity in the women's side of things, but you expect when you hear Sweden versus Japan in hockey, who do you think is going to win? Like, Sweden all day, and good for Japan, man. I'm excited. I'm excited just how much the sport's growing into, like, those non-traditional markets, however you want to say it. It's dope.
It is a shame. Of course, the games are on at 8 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast, but do what you got to do. Like,
keep
an eye on
5 a.m. for me? Christ, no wonder.
Oh, yeah.
No wonder I haven't. Yeah, no. I mean, I'm up at 6:20, but
there you go.
I'm working.
As well, Endo, any thoughts on Canada just spanking the hell out of Switzerland? I mean, you said it's not surprising.
Yeah,
so.
That's Canada, how it is. Canada's always been a powerhouse. It's funny because the men's team struggles against Switzerland, but the women's team always dominates Switzerland. I don't
just
know.
Goes to show you, women are just superior, clearly.
And the power of Damian Brunner for the men's, or whoever the hell is on that Swiss team. That reference was for you, Red Wings fans. That was for you. Team legend Damian Brunner. As well, so hey, keep an eye on that. Support women's hockey. Watch these games. I guarantee you'll be entertained because women's hockey is dope. Pat Verbeek has been named the new general manager of the Anaheim Ducks. Couldn't be a better fit for someone having the last name of Verbeek. Now, as a player, someone also made the joke that they have Cam Fowler. So Verbeek was a Stanley Cup champion as a player, won it with Dallas in 1999. Sorry, Sabres fans. He retired at the end of the 2002 season. He became a pro scout for Detroit and was a scout for them between 2006 and 2010. The same time Steve Yzerman became the vice president of hockey ops for the Red Wings.
What?
So again, 2006, Pat Verbeek with the Red Wings as a pro scout.
Yeah,
2006 is when Steve Yzerman started as the vice president of hockey ops for the Red Wings.
Yeah, so I forgot.
Important.
Then he went to Tampa, and then he came back. I was like, wait, has it been that long?
Pat Verbeek would leave for the Tampa Bay Lightning between 2010 and 2019. He'd take on numerous roles, including the director of pro scouting, director of player personnel, and assistant GM. That exact same time frame was when Steve Yzerman became the vice president of hockey ops, general manager, and senior advisor for the Lightning. Verbeek in 2019 would return to Detroit, where he was until he took this job. He was not only the assistant GM, but the GM of the AHL's Grand Rapids Griffins, while Yzerman has been the GM and executive vice president of hockey ops. So basically, Verbeek and Steve Yzerman took on front office jobs at the same time. They have been tied at the hip and worked together at the exact same time since 2006. These guys have been in the same front office. And now Verbeek takes over his first NHL GM job with the Ducks. It makes all the sense in the world to see what Pat Verbeek has.
You know what that means?
Like, how much value did he bring to that pairing with Yzerman? Or was Yzerman just kind of dragging him along a little bit? Like, we're going to find out. But I'm excited to see what he can do as a GM. I think it's a pretty good signing. It's not the traditional signing in a sense where, Verbeek's already had 6 chances. Come on down for chance number 7. Like, it's a guy who, yes, is the legacy of a former player, but has been waiting 15 years for the opportunity to actually be a general manager on his own.
Yeah, but I mean, really, I think we're all missing the bigger picture here. Islanders to Anaheim, Yzerman to Anaheim.
Oof, interesting.
Detroit fans right now just punching the air. But yeah, they spent so long saying Yzerman's coming back to Detroit, and then he actually does. So,
and I mean,
but no, I'm excited.
Plans in full effect.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that. I like when new people get hired because that's what the NHL so desperately freaking needs. And Verbeek's coming into a pretty nice situation. He's got a pretty nice little young core developing. I think I'm excited. I was excited to read that. He was the director of pro scouting, director of player personnel, that kind of stuff. And I wish it would have been more like. I think their amateur scouting is pretty good over there in the Ducks, and I think bringing him in that sense to me signifies that they're ready to take that next step in their rebuild, which could be good or bad. I do feel like they've drafted really, really well, and they have done it properly, and you're seeing the natural sort of progression of that. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to see what they're going to bring to the table. But yeah, he's coming into a pretty decent situation.
Along with that, the replacement for Pat Verbeek in Detroit is one Sean Horkhoff.
Ugh.
Noted former Oiler, also played, tell me if you remember this, he played 2 seasons in Dallas and 1 in Anaheim. No recollection of that.
I kind of remember the Anaheim one.
It was 1 season, his last year in the NHL.
Yeah.
He's been with the Red Wings organization, I'd argue quietly, since 2016. He's had numerous roles: director of player development, assistant director of player personnel. He has been named the assistant GM of the Red Wings and the new GM of the Griffins, basically taking over for Pat Verbeek's role. So, again, also interesting. I mean, because I feel like a lot of these guys, except if it's someone like a Hall of Fame level like Steve Yzerman, like someone like Sean Horkhoff can just fly under the radar and work his way into a front office. It's the same way that somebody like Daniel Briere has slowly been working his way up. Like, he took on his first GM job with the Maine Mariners in the ECHL and is already kind of continuing to work his way up the Flyers organization at this stage. Right now I'm trying to find his actual role with the Flyers, and indeed, like 2015-16, around the same time, took that front office job at the Flyers, started with the Maine Mariners. Even now, he's still the president of the Maine Mariners. It's like, you wouldn't really know, like, oh yeah, it's Danny Briere. What's he doing? Oh, he's in front office management. You just don't really hear about it unless you're super tied to that team. So, good for Pat Verbeek. I'm excited to see kind of what happens there. And for the Ducks as well, I mean, I'd say it was time probably to make a change there and see what happens next. And obviously they have a pretty good young core of players.
Yeah, it's definitely time for Bob Murray to go, especially if you ask my buddy who's vehemently anti Bob Murray because he got rid of. Well, I mean, yeah, let Theodore go to keep around the other guy. Whatever other young defenseman there who's not quite as good as Theodore.
God, who did they keep over?
I know they kept Manson. But
oh my God. I know exactly you're talking about the Vegas expansion draft, and they kept a defenseman instead of Shea Theodore. And I'm
blanking.
So
I don't know how I'm blanking on this name. It's right there.
It wasn't Fowler.
No, it wasn't the younger
Lindholm.
guy. Yes, it was Lindholm, wasn't it?
Was it Lindholm?
It was either him or Manson. Or they protected both of them and exposed Theodore. It was a big oof then, and it's a bigger oof now.
Protected players, Western Conference, Anaheim Ducks on defense. Yeah, they protected Bieksa, Fowler, and Hampus Lindholm.
Well, first of all,
but also
it was
somebody. It was somebody else who wasn't protected, wasn't it? Like, please, we'll trade you Shea Theodore so you don't take this guy who's vulnerable.
I think it was Manson. I think they did that to keep Manson. I want to say that they did that to keep Manson, which is hilarious.
NHL.com, Ducks trade Theodore. Okay. Okay, so the Ducks have traded Shea Theodore to the Vegas Golden Knights in exchange for the Knights' agreement to select Clayton Stoner in the draft. But who were they trying to protect?
I think it's Manson. Which is fucking
Oh my
hilarious.
god. I have to find this.
Oh man.
I have to find this.
I'm blanking all the
Hold
defenseman
on.
names. I thought there was someone else too who has like name start with an M.
Oh my god.
Was it? Was I right?
Anaheim Ducks, defenseman Clayton Stoner. They also received Shea Theodore in a trade that ensured they wouldn't select Josh Manson or Sammy Vatanen.
Wow. Wow.
Holy shit. Yeah. Imagine keeping Josh Manson, who made a career out of getting walked by Sharks players. Holy shit.
Oh, goodness. Now, apparently there was some issues where the Ducks might not have been able to keep Theodore exactly, but I mean, holy shit, you find a way instead of having it be that.
They traded.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I don't even know how we got onto that topic of conversation at this point, but I will say it
Bob
lends
Murray had to
perfectly-
go, and that's kind of why.
There you go. It lends perfectly into that next talking point where I wanted to mention the Seattle Kraken got their first shutout in franchise history with Philip Grubauer blanking the Islanders
took a
because,
while.
of course, it was the Islanders. Now, here's what I want to ask you guys because I cut this out of our little run sheet so you wouldn't know the answer. The Coyotes have had a shutout this season before Seattle. Shout out to the Coyotes, by the way, who also just snapped Colorado's 10-game winning streak and 18-game home winning streak. There are 3 teams out of the 32 that do not yet have a shutout. I would have sworn that with how bad the Kraken goaltending has been, that they were the last team to record a shutout this season. That is not true. 3 teams in the NHL have not recorded a shutout. Together, can you name those 3 teams?
Montreal?
Montreal for sure.
Incorrect. Montreal does have a shutout this
Fuck.
They
season.
do.
Yeah.
Jake, was it Allen? Fucking bitch.
I can look up who it was. I didn't pay attention notably to who it
Damn.
was. But
I know it's not Arizona because Wedgwood had a shutout.
And he just,
it's
Yeah,
pretty bad.
he
yeah.
just said, yeah.
I literally just said that. too.
Sorry.
It's okay. So again, there are 3 teams, 1 in the East, 2 in the West.
Buffalo.
As in terms of shutouts, by the way, the shutouts this season, Jake Allen has 2 for the Habs.
Yikes.
Wow.
Well, I just don't care about him enough, so there you go. I mean, they have 7 wins. Holy crap, 2 of them are shutouts. I mean, I guess
Yeah.
when you can't score, that's the only way you're going to fucking win.
They have 7 wins?
Or 9.
Yeah,
or
they only have
something.
like 7 wins on the year.
What?
I can get the updated number on
Something
that too.
horrible.
Boys, focus on the task at
Sorry,
hand.
I'm
here.
trying
As
to
the
think.
Habs have
Fuck off
8
with
wins,
that
excuse
shit.
me. 8,
Sorry.
29, and 7.
Winnipeg.
3 teams.
Winnipeg.
No, Winnipeg has the shutout.
I don't care. I actually don't care now.
Edmonton.
Correct.
Yeah.
Edmonton is one of them.
Yeah, because fucking Koskinen.
The Oilers do not have a shutout. Nor do the Buffalo Sabres, which I thought was the easy one you guys.
Well, I was going to guess Montreal, Buffalo, and then someone from the West, but hell.
So it is Buffalo, Edmonton, and the Dallas Stars.
That's
Do
weird
not
to
have
me.
a shutout this
No.
season.
They're like
Dallas
such a
is not
defensive
good.
team. You figured they would have a shutout.
Ottinger a 9-12, Holtby a 9-13, but yeah, no
Wow.
shutouts on the season
Okay.
for any Dallas goaltenders. So the one name that really jumps out there is Edmonton. You fucking idiots. Like, just come on. You fucking idiots. Ken Holland, I don't know how anybody can sit here and just be like, still defend that move. Like, my God. I ripped them to shreds when they made the move because he just signed Justin Advocator and Danny DeKaiser and Jonathan Erickson to these outrageous deals. But Oilers fans are like, well, he can't be worse than Shirelli. He might not be worse than Shirelli, but he's at least as bad. There you go. There is our weekly shot at the Oilers because Jesus
Gotta
Christ.
happen.
Shall we get to the main event of this podcast and talk about the last thing any of us wanted to talk about today?
No.
Sure.
Okay.
The Chicago Blackhawks are back in the news, everybody. Indeed.
So, Sin, what are you having for dinner?
Yeah.
Let's not talk about
Try to
this.
talk about anything else but here we go.
Yeah.
So the crux of this issue, and by the way, there was breaking news that in recapping this incident, there will be no subsequent discipline towards Rocky Wirtz Rocky Wirtz for his role in this incident? Because of course not.
No.
Why would you face any discipline for making the NHL look like a joke? Although, before talking about this, I do want to mention that in talking about the Blackhawks, because I'm going to bring up a couple of things here. I want to shout out the Calgary Hitmen, who are giving away or who are doing this the special jersey. They're selling them on their website with the title "Every Child Matters." Portions of the sales for these jerseys are going towards supporting youth sports programs for, and correct me if I mispronunciate this, but the Siksika Nation in Alberta. The logo's really cool. It's the Calgary Hitmen's mask, but it's kind of got like the headdress, the feather attachment. And imagine that. You can do something respectfully for a nation and supporting a nation like that without having to have a caricature of a person's face as the logo for the jersey. Imagine. The summary for this for certain Hawks fans, and I'll tell you right now what this is going to be. The Chicago Blackhawks fan base is one of the best in all of sports, not just hockey. You guys are fucking awesome. Bottom line. I say that as a Bruins fan. 2013 happened. None of this is intended as a shot at the Hawks fan base. That team needs an ownership change. That team needs arguably a name change and certainly a logo change. That organization means nothing in a sense of what has happened and what has been revealed. The logo is not viewed positively. The name, the brand, it's dead. That is a dead brand. And I think the best thing for that team is to completely rebrand. I'm not saying move them out of Chicago. It's time for a new era in a lot of ways. Wanted to throw that out there. I will read off the exchange that really kind of sparked this between Mark Lazarus and Hawks owner Rocky Wirtz at a town hall style meeting in which the question was asked by Lazarus. My question is for Danny Wirtz, who is also a part, of course, of the ownership group in the front office behind his dad. I know we're looking forward here, but I think we have to look back also. I think much of what happened to Kyle Beach stemmed from the power imbalance between a coach and a player and the powerlessness of a player in that situation. So what are the Blackhawks doing? What have the Blackhawks done? What will the Blackhawks do to empower a player in a similar situation to make sure that doesn't happen again? First and foremost, fair question.
Absolutely
from Mark
fair.
Lazarus.
Absolutely
More than fair question. Directed at Danny Wirtz. His dad, Rocky, interjects. I'm going to answer the question, not Danny. I think the report speaks for itself. The people that were here or the people that were involved are no longer here. We're not looking back at 2010. We're looking forward. We're not going to talk about 2010. Mark Lazarus responds, I'm not talking about 2010. Rocky Wirtz, I know, I'm not either. We're not going to talk about what happened. We're moving forward. That's my answer. Now, what's your next question?
It's disgusting.
Yeah. How more tone deaf can you be? Like, I'm laughing at a frustration that he's just like,
They've learned nothing. They've absolutely learned nothing. It is beyond fair for us to say, hey, so you're shifting culture. Okay, what are you doing? You don't get to just say, like, that's the problem. In like, when people get busted and shit, they're like, oh, I'm sorry. And everyone's like, okay, well, they apologize. That means everything's better. No, you have to actually show that you've changed. It's the same thing, all these other situations. Evander Kane, everything. Oh, he deserves a second chance. Why? They have not shown that they've changed. Why should Rocky Wirtz get off the hook because he wasn't involved with the organization? Okay, this stuff happened. What have you done to shift things away? What are you going to do, as the question was asked, to protect these players? What real change has happened? People deserve to know that, and you should feel compelled to tell the public so you don't continue to be the organization that covered up rape. It seems like a pretty good option to want to show how you're better than the organization that covered up rape. But that's just me.
Oh, well, Sin, how does this make you feel that Wirtz was then quoted in saying, we are the Chicago Blackhawks and we set the tone of hockey culture?
Yeah, no.
Boy, I don't think he realized exactly how that one came off either, does he?
They sure do
set the tone, don't they?
Yeah. not only set the tone, but they are completely in line with what hockey culture is. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Again, Rocky Wirtz said, I know. I'm not talking about it either. We're not going to talk about what happened. We're moving forward. That's my answer. Now, what's your question? His son, Danny, interjects and says, I can pick up, too, what we are doing today, and I think... His father cut him off.
Yeah.
As Danny tried to answer the question, Rocky says, no, that's none of your business. That's none of your business. What we're doing today is our business. I don't think it's any of your business. Mark Lazarus responds, how is that not my business? Rocky Wirtz, because I don't think it's any of your business. You don't work for the company. If someone in the company asks that question, we'll answer it. And I think you should get on to the next subject. We're not going to talk about Kyle Beach. We're not going to talk about anything that happened. Now we're moving on. What more do I have to say? You want to keep asking the same question, ask the next question. And Mark Lazarus ends it by saying, you said enough right there. Imagine... And by the way, I mentioned this as well. There is an update as Gary Bettman is undergoing a press conference, mind you. There is no subsequent discipline again coming his way for this. Now, this is how Rocky Wirtz was willing to act publicly. Imagine how he acts when he's not in front of cameras.
Yep.
Imagine how those people on stage, including his own fucking son, feel when publicly he's willing to just say, no, you guys shut up, I got this. I will speak for all of us. I am the owner of this team. I am almighty.
You know, I looked at the photo of Rocky Wirtz holding the cup over his head. And he has this grimacing look on his face. And, like, now I see, like, just a disgusting human being who's definitely complicit of whatever the fuck it is. If you had any sort of accountability, like, of saying, like, oh, you know, I had no involvement whatsoever, you've lost it completely. Especially to have this sort of reaction to a reporter reporting on something that's happened and having to give information about how you guys are going to improve. For you not to make any sort of comment of saying we're improving by doing this and that, it shows that you personally are probably hiding something. It shows that you also just are complicit in any facet whatsoever, and you should be stripped of your championship as well. It's ridiculous. He should be thrown out of the organization, but we know Batman's not going to do it, and I'm pretty sure he's going to try to do anything he can to keep this swept under the rug, or not try and talk about it as much during All-Star Weekend.
Well, that's what this was, right? This was a 69-year-old man throwing a temper tantrum because a reporter dared not give him a softball question, but instead said, hey, how's everything going with how you're following up on your promises and how you said you would conduct yourselves after it was found that you guys did nothing while this happened to Kyle Beach.
We got an update for that.
And he threw a tantrum.
Yeah, that's a big update. Fucking hell.
And it wasn't just Mark Lazarus that he snapped at. He also snapped at Philip Thompson for bringing up old business and all the negative stuff. Now, Philip Thompson mentioned on Twitter that Danny Wirtz went out of his way to approach Mr. Thompson after the town hall, saying he would be happy to discuss team values and culture and protocols to protect the players in the future. Needless to say, he mentioned, at the time I tried to follow up with Rocky, things got a little bit heated. So Danny Wirtz is outright trying to do the right thing. He tried to do the right thing on stage and after when he didn't have to. And his old dickhead of a dad does what he does.
Get these old fucks out of positions of power, dude. Like, I'm so fucking sick of it. All these people, like, near their 70s, in their 70s, in all these crazy positions of powers, they clearly don't care. They're fucking dinosaurs, dude. And I don't know. It's crazy to me. And I feel bad for Danny, but also, like, I can't believe it. Like, he just basically got bitch slapped in public. Like, he got told to sit down by a controlling ass dad.
He is 44 years old, and his dad talked to him like he was a child.
I know. That is
publicly
gross.
It's gross.
Again, nothing's changed, and we hoped for the best, but it's very clear, at least from the Blackhawks and in that organization, absolutely nothing has changed. Faces have changed. People has changed. Nothing else besides that, and that sucks. And I hope Danny kicks his father the fuck out and actually makes some change, because it seems like he actually has a motivation and a will to do that, or he's just much better at PR. That'll remain to be seen. But I'd get the old fuck out.
Yeah, it's like
Go
it's
ahead.
like a whole like year or whatever of like 9 months of progress of them actually making an improvement or trying to make an improvement was just outdone in 10 like in a minute.
I mean, they just said they were going to. No,
Nobody believes now that they've
Yeah.
actually done anything. No, not at all. Now, and here's the issue. The very next day, where he says, we're not talking about 2010, we're not looking backwards, Rick Westhead at TSN reports that there are more lawsuits coming the Blackhawks' way. There is a former player from the University of Miami, Ohio, who has apparently filed a lawsuit saying Brad Aldrich has used, or at the time, used his name, his connections to say, oh yeah, I'm friends with this player and this player. Showed off, I guess, the Stanley Cup ring in a way to build trust. So at the same time, look, we can't comment on whether or not what happened actually happened. We'll wait to see what happens. Obviously, again, I'm not going to sit here and just be like, oh, yeah, for sure, he did this. But Brad Aldrich also does not get the benefit of the doubt. At the same time, it's worth mentioning the Hawks are still facing lawsuits for this shit while Rocky Wirtz does what he does. And the response, thankfully, from the NHL, particularly the TNT broadcast, they talked about this and they absolutely slammed the response from Rocky Wirtz, and thank God for that, including Wayne Gretzky saying, and quote, if I'm a parent, I want to know if my 18-year-old kid's being drafted by that team, if he's actually going to be protected.
Yeah.
That is so fucking important for Wayne fucking Gretzky to have said that.
That's huge. I literally got chills from reading that quote, just because how important is Wayne to the hockey community, and for him to say that's a big step forward, because we've been spending all that time talking about how much the old guard sucks and the dinosaurs and all these fucking people, and then to have Wayne Gretzky, who is the idol of all those fucking clowns, to say that, at least in public, he's the idol. They're probably bashing him right now in private, but to have him say that is so massive. Like, anyone on the fence, maybe that'll, if it just pulls a few more people across into the light and understanding the gravity of the situation, it's huge. It's from a cultural standpoint for hockey to have Wayne Gretzky be on that side of the fence is big.
The next step for the Blackhawks now is finding a new general manager. Obviously, Stan Bowman stepped down this past October when all of this came out. They have announced that they have officially conducted interviews with Kyle Davidson, who has been the interim GM since Bowman stepped down. He has been with the Blackhawks for 12 seasons. Does that instill any confidence that something might change in that front office if you're going to have someone stick around who's been there for 12 years?
Nope.
Oh.
They have also interviewed officially Eric Tulsky, who is currently with the Carolina Hurricanes. He's been there for 8 years. He's an assistant GM right now, and previously has served as vice president of hockey management and strategy. He was also he previously wrote for Broad Street Hockey, NHL Numbers, so he is someone who's a bit more, I'd say, in tune with like the analytical, statistical side of things. And the other name that's being thrown around that might get interviewed is Peter Shirelli.
I want to fucking throw up. Jesus Christ, not sure.
Know what? No, they deserve it. They deserve it. I hope they get Shirelli. I hope Rocky Wirtz gets Shirelli because he just wants a fucking yes man in there. Honestly, I think there's a good chance that happens.
I hope it does. I think they'll likely stick with Kyle Davidson because, again, he's been there and he knows the line that Rocky Wirtz would like to toe.
That's very true. He's probably, honestly, he's probably more of a yes man than Shirelli would be. even though Shirelli is part of the old boys club, like, yeah, if you have someone you've essentially been grooming there. Sorry for that, for the word choice, but at the same time, it does fit in this context, I guess.
Obviously, this is when I elected to start this podcast almost a year ago, right? And flat out, again, things have changed in regards to this podcast, but I was asked to do this podcast for years, and at no point did I ever think, like, oh yeah, we're going to have to talk about stuff like this. I just want to talk about how this guy missed an empty net the other day, and it was funny. Obviously, again, and I've alluded towards it before, but different ideas of how to handle this show. I can't imagine, and number one, the show as it was wouldn't have continued in its current form. Again, I've alluded towards it in the past. With Deej, he had ideas of how he wanted to have this show go if he was going to be a part of it. And for me, there were more serious topics coming up, and I felt like it was important to cover them. And that's what it is, and I don't blame him for wanting to have that approach of like, hey, man, at the very least, it's depressing as shit to have to talk about this, because it is. Who wants to sit here and talk about how fucking garbage Rocky Wirtz is as a person? Oh, but he's done this charity-wise, I'm sure.
Tax purposes.
Yeah, there you go. I don't think any of us want to sit. I don't want to sit here. I won't speak for you guys. I don't want to sit here and have to sit, and talk about consistently, thanks to the Blackhawks, about a lot of this shittier stuff. But it is a hockey story at the end of the day, and this is a hockey podcast. It's that simple. I mean, again, based off of how outspoken I've been, and I've talked about this before, like when I started on YouTube and Twitch, really up to about 2018, I tried to toe that line of, I'm just going to try to avoid anything that could be viewed as political and just stay out of it. And look, there are some people that do a very good job of that, and it leads them to certain places. Like, I respect the fact that, and I don't want to use him as an example, but I look at a Nasher, who I have never seen anything even close to that being discussed, and that doesn't make him a bad person or a good person. It's just, I respect the fact that he can do that. But for me, the makeup of who I am a rather vocal person, in case you haven't noticed. I could not, based off of what people knew about me, how opinionated I am, whether or not you think I'm right or wrong, agree or disagree, but how opinionated I am, I couldn't have, not been able to talk about this type of stuff as it's going on. And nor do I think it would have worked out tremendously well to try and take that approach of like, let's keep it positive all the time, when weeks later, like not too long after Endo was brought onto this show and Sim was brought onto this show, all the Kyle Beach stuff breaks.
Yeah. And
you get more of these stories that, yes, are negative and shitty to talk about, but they are like intrinsically tied to hockey. You have to discuss this shit, and that's why I wanted to clarify right out of the gates before we really got into the meat and potatoes of the story to Hawks fans that, again, it's not an attack on you. You can't control you can't control the fact that your owner's a fucking dirtbag. I'm a Bruins fan. Jeremy Jacobs is no angel. I am well aware. Jeremy Jacobs is like every other rich white man. Only cares about the profit. That's it. He doesn't give a shit about anything else. Every Bruins fan will pretty much tell you that. But again, when you have stories like this, it's like, what do you do? Do you talk about it or do you not? And I'm not necessarily someone that cares about how I look, like my outward appearance in terms of, oh, well, Tougie didn't talk about this, so he must mean he agrees with Rocky, where it's like, I don't care if people were to think that, but at the same time, I do find it important to be like, hey, Rocky Wirtz is a piece of shit. Yeah, I feel it's important to have that opinion out there. If people are going to watch and support me, I feel like it's important for people to know that that is how I feel.
Yeah, I have to agree. And yeah, and to your point, yeah, I think I could have done a much better job at, marketing myself, but that's just not in my DNA. Like, I don't care about my image. I care about what's right, and this isn't right. So I have to speak up on it. I'll be whatever. But
my image is me.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I am my image. Exactly. I do not put on a front.
Yeah.
And if that means that certain people don't like me, or certain people won't watch me, or certain brands don't want to work with me, then cool. We're not meant to work together. That's not meant to work out. You can't please everybody. But I would much rather, and again, it's no disrespect to Andrew, to Nasher at all. I respect what he does. I respect that he just kind of stays neutral and focuses on him and what he loves and the content that he makes, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
dude, he gets incredible opportunities out of it. I'm not saying or alluding towards like, I think he's fake. Like, no, I think that just is him.
Yeah.
I've had good conversations with him. We are different people, as if that is not very obvious. Like, I look up, I'm not saying I don't respect what Nasher does, but I look up to say somebody like a True Geordie on the YouTube side of things, where that guy is just fucking unapologetically him. Don't want to work with me? Fuck you. I don't need to work with you. It's worked out well for him. It's worked out well for other people. Like, if me being me and, expressing certain opinions keeps me at a certain level, then fuck it. It keeps me at a certain level, Like, if there are Hawks fans that are like, I disagree with you about them changing the name and the logo, I'm not going to listen or watch anymore, then hey, I appreciate that you listened or watched in the first place, So it really is just one of those things, obviously, where I think we would all love to just be able to have that ideal situation of it's all positive all the time because there's only positive stuff to talk about. But for as long as people like Rocky Wirtz are in position of power in the hockey realm, that's not going to be the case. I have a hunch.
There are some positives. We've discovered.
We talked about some great positives.
Yeah, well, I mean, no, just not in general. Just mean with this story. There's things that we can find with it. We're seeing that a lot more of the media is stepping up. It's not just Rick Westhead is still spearheading it, and without him, who knows? But to see more media members standing up and making a stand and actually asking tough questions, it needs to happen. That's a pretty big positive. We're seeing a lot more people find the strength to come forward. That's a positive. We're maybe seeing the league hold them accountable, and if they're not, people are ready to jump down the throat and clean house of the NHL. These are positive things because they will lead to the positive sort of change that we need to see. So it is good to see that, and that's what I kind of I'll choose to think about before I go to bed, is that Rick Westhead is out there standing up for these kids and giving them a voice, and that's good.
I think that is the big takeaway from this, and it's in a way similar to what we talked about with the Jacob Panetta, Jordan Subban situation. The response from the media and the public at large is closer now than ever to what it should be, and how these situations are handled and not just kind of brushed off as no big deal or not even covered in a sense. Like, there is absolutely a time not all that long ago where the response to this would have been like, oh yeah, Rocky Wirtz, he really fucking gave Mark Lazarus the business, stupid reporter. What the hell are you doing? That was very unprofessional of you to ask Rocky Wirtz that question. That 1,000% would have been the response not all that long ago.
Yep.
So I think you're right. The takeaway here is how the media responds. It's a lot more in line with what it should be in questioning and calling out Rocky Wirtz. I think the response internally is that you look at Danny Wirtz to say this isn't just an organization that's completely off the rails, and that it looks like there are some people in there who are, thankfully don't agree with the chairman of this organization, and will hopefully continue to kind of fight for like, hey, maybe don't fucking do that again, you fucking idiot. You're making it difficult for the rest of us.
Yeah.
There are positives to take away from this. So, with that, it was one of those things where, in terms of scheduling out the show today, I'm like, okay, what do we talk about first? What do we talk about last? I think this was important to kind of leave as the last talking point of the show. And a big thank you to everyone that does listen to and support this podcast. I mean, again, like I said, we started this a year ago. Twists and turns to it, but I'm glad to still be doing this. I mean, it was one of those things, you start a podcast, it's like, am I going to be doing this for a full year? Turns out, here we are. And who knows what the next week will bring, what the next a couple of months will bring, but we're going to talk about it, as fun as it can be to talk about certain subjects, like as fun as it can be to sit there and talk about, hey, PK Subban's in Jackass Forever. At the same time, it's the duality of the sport. We get to talk about something cool like that, and then we get to talk about Rocky Wirtz being a gigantic scumbag. That is hockey. It's entertainment. That is entertainment. Like, it's the duality of man, except we're focused on a bunch of people hitting a vulcanized rubber puck with sticks.
What is vulcanized rubber anyway?
Does
anyone even know? They always say vulcanized rubber. I'm just like, Star Trek?
I didn't watch Star Trek. I don't know.
Oh my god.
Is it real fucking smart? We got smart leather out here.
Vulcanized rubber is any type of rubber that's been hardened through the use of heat and sulfur. It's made via a curing process in which the rubber's elastomers, I'm a smartman, harden in response to heat and sulfur. So basically, it's just a superheated puck.
Yeah.
That somehow doesn't melt because they just keep reheating it, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I actually know one of the guys who does all the pucks for the NHL.
And that's all the time we have for you here today. Thank you guys very much. If you want to hear Endo's 30-minute long diatribe, you can listen to us on the Patreon feed for those extra bonuses. You can find Endo on Twitch at twitch.tv/Endo Mills. You can find Sin on YouTube at Sin for the Win Production.
I'm just gonna fucking leave. Twitch.tv/Endo Mills, whatever.
I am everywhere at Tougie24. We'll hear Endo's puck stories next week. Thank you all very much for listening and for watching. Again, the podcast channel is out there. Just search Tougie's Take Podcast. And of course, again, thank you very much for listening. Regardless of where you listen, if it's iTunes, if it's Apple Podcasts, a lot of our viewers are on Apple Podcasts. You're beautiful. Spotify, everywhere. We're there. Find us. Endo, we love you.
How are you gonna do this to me in my month? Come on, they give me the shortest month of the year, and this is what you do. To me. This is what you do to me on the shortest month of the year, the month, Black History Month.
I was like,
I'm joking. Yeah, it took a second, didn't it? Anyways,
well, because I immediately thought of
No,
time.
I
The first thing I thought it was time of the month. I was like, what? What are you?
oh my
You're making a really bad dot joke, but no, you're.
No, it's fine. Have a good night, everybody.
Does Tougie is racist?
Does
I just have to know.
oh no.
Oh my God.
There is no better time than right now to get into the stock market. I myself have spent the last 2 years of my life trading for an income. That's why I'm really excited to bring you guys this product right here from Jake the Stock Guy. It is an options trading alert service, and really it's more than just an alert service. It's an educational service. There's tons and tons of professional traders in there day in, day out, not only giving you alerts of what they're doing, but helping you learn the tools of the trade so that you can take that knowledge with you for the rest of your life. And I myself use this product every single day. I have for the past few months. So right now, look in that description. There's a link there for your 14-day free trial